Good evening, my lovelies, and welcome. I'm Lady McCreepster. Do you enjoy exploring abandoned places? Specifically, rumored, haunted, abandoned places? If you do, or have been thinking about it, this tale by Redditor Cowboy Rides Alone might serve as a cautionary story for you. So come, lean in closer, and we'll begin. My hotel room was booked in Yuma, Arizona. Not a place one would typically find themselves, except in this instance, it was for a new job. My employer put me up in a hotel for a few weeks until I was able to secure a place. The hotel was brand new, with a very accommodating and kind staff. Most of the rooms appeared to be empty just because the place was that new. So they put me on the first floor in a corner room suite. My first week in the hotel, everything was quite normal. I watch TV till I fall asleep. I wake up and make my coffee in the morning with the supplied Starbucks wafer-shaped coffee packet, open my 2 creams and 2 sugars, then I'm out the door for another day on the job. As with any new place, you meet co-workers and get invited to do some exploring around the area. My colleague tells me there is an old ghost town about an hour's drive out from my hotel, and he thinks I'd enjoy that. So that weekend, on Sunday, I pack a small bag and I'm off with my new friend to have an adventure. After almost an hour's drive, we pull off onto an unpaved desert path. The dust is kicking up along the rocks and tumbleweed. The rental car is taking the brunt of the abuse, and it was in no way, shape, or form really capable of such a task. Finally, as we pulled into the front entrance of the encampment, we had to sit and wait for all the dust we'd stirred up to settle. We open the car doors and start trekking around, looking at the old rustic cabins and displaced scrap metal. My colleague walks up ahead of me, yells, "Whoa, man, there's mining holes, watch your step." I come up to where he's standing and look down into the deep abyss of a hole. I can feel a steady stream of cool air rushing out of the hole that envelops around my face under the hot Yuma sun. "Maybe we should drop something in it, see how deep it is," he says. He grabs a giant rock and throws it into the hole. We count the seconds until we heard it hit. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, thunk. The feeling of letting something so heavy drop into a hole so deep reminded me of when I was a kid. I was always so terrified to even peek over the edge of a high building or off the rail of a cruise ship because it felt like somehow I'd lose control of my ability to stay grounded and fall over. The seconds felt like minutes, and with the cool air from the hole whispering into our ears, I started to feel quite uncomfortable. You want to check out the rest of this place?" I asked while trying to seem nonchalant. "Sure, man, there's lots to check out," he said. As we start coming over a small hill, I was kicking up more dust and rock and scrap metal. Something came over me in an instant, and I just didn't feel right. I stopped in my tracks and looked over at my friend who was about 50 feet away from me on another path. He was staring right back at me, looking as if I had committed the most appalling of acts. You're standing in a makeshift cemetery." How do you know that?" I say to him as I look down at my feet. There's boots sticking out over there behind you, and you're staring next to some sort of boulder that looks like a headstone. It became apparent that I was standing on top of an old miner's grave. My immediate reaction was to run and then jump in intervals to get out without disturbing the area anymore. When I was nearly out of the cemetery, I sprinted and tripped over something in the dirt. I looked down, and it was a brown old boot that was ripped open, exposing the toes of a skeleton buried underneath. Being part Native American, I knew this was sacred ground, and I had made a monumental mistake. My grandfather would tell stories of our ancestors' burial sites being disturbed by rowdy teenagers or unassuming loggers and labor workers. He would tell me the sorts of curses one could bring upon themselves having disturbed such a site. Let's leave. I'm ready to go home now, I mumbled, clearly looking shaken. Don't worry about it, man. You didn't know. It's not like they mind. They're dead. My friend tried to joke to ease my apparent tension. The drive home felt short. I could only keep obsessing about what I had done and the fact that I tripped over a dead man's foot. How I saw his bones exposed, and how I made it all worse by disturbing a site that probably hadn't been touched since it was abandoned in the 1800s. When I got into my room, I was utterly exhausted from the afternoon. I face-planted onto the bed and slept a solid 12 hours straight. When I woke, it was just past 2 a.m. I was completely awake after such a long and hard nap. The TV was still on as well, as were all the lights in the room. As I laid in bed, I felt like I was being watched. The hair on my neck and forearms stood up. I felt the chill run down my spine, and I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was staring at me from the other side of the room. Compelled, I reached into the nightstand drawer and pulled out the Bible, the only thing I figured could give me a sense of peace. Until dawn, I read various verses out of the book out loud, almost shouting it at points fervently. However, the feeling of being watched persisted until it was time to get moving for work. Going through the motions of getting ready helped me some, but showering, dressing, and eating, I still felt like someone was staring right into my eyes. I end up going to work and talking a little bit to my new friend about yesterday's adventure. I decided against telling him about last night's paranoia because I didn't want him to think I was a coward or crazy. The workday passes slowly, and I start to feel quite exhausted from having such a bad sleep schedule the night before. I make it back to my room. All the lights are off. The TV is off, and I find that my bed hasn't been made. I have no new towels, and my coffee, cream, and sugars haven't been replaced. That's odd, I think. Maybe it was a fluke. The cleaning ladies might have just overlooked my room by accident, I say to myself. Abruptly, I head to the front desk to check on why my room wasn't cleaned. The lady manning it is the manager, a middle-aged Latina woman who was born and raised here in Yuma. Hey Josh, what's up? How's your stay been? She asks. It's been great. Everyone has been great, but I wanted to ask you, my room wasn't cleaned today. Did the maids just forget? Oh, I'm so sorry. Hold on a second. What room are you in? 118. I don't see any notes here. If you need any fresh towels or toiletries, let me know, and I'll have them delivered to your door. I'll make sure she does it tomorrow for sure. Okay, cool. Yeah, not a huge deal. I was just curious. I'll take a towel, a pack of coffee, and that cream and sugar, please." "Sounds good. I'll have them bring it up." I walk back to my room and decide to sit on the couch while I wait. The feeling comes back again. This time, I feel like I'm being watched, but also like I'm not wanted in the room. Uneasiness sets in and the chills come back running across my neck. I go for the side table and pull out the Bible again. I begin to read it out loud. Thump, thump, thump. I jump off the couch, startled. "Housekeeping!" Upon opening the door, I see a nice black-haired cleaning lady who hands me my stuff. Before I could say thanks, she turns around and promptly walks back down the hall. I see her gesturing with her hands, but only from the back. As I lay in bed, I end up nodding off with the Bible still in my hands. A loud thump in the bathroom wakes me. I get up and wipe the drool from my face. I look over at the clock and it shows 12:22 a.m. Maybe the thump was a new neighbor next door. I quickly brush it off and decide to browse the overly priced food options in the lobby. "How's your night going, sir?" I hear behind me. On edge, I respond, "Oh, good, just looking for something to eat." I grab the box of tortellini, charge it to my room, and start heading back to my room. I insert the room key and push on the door. Boom. The door doesn't open all the way. I tried again, closed it to put the room key in. Boom. The door is latched from the inside of the room. I peer through the opening and noticed the lights have been turned off inside and the TV is on. My heart sinks. I remember the lights were on and the TV wasn't. The TV is also angled towards the bed, which I didn't do. I run back over to the front desk. "Hey man, I think someone's in my room and I'm locked out from the inside and the TV is on and the lights are off. Did you guys book that room for someone else?" Looking confused, the clerk responded, No new check-ins today, and we have you booked in that room for the whole month. I'll call security." Security shows up with a tool to try and open the latch. He takes my keycard and slides it in, waiting for the green light. He turns the handle, and at the moment the door is stopped by the latch inside, the TV angles towards us through the crack and then shuts off. "Nope," he says, and then turns around and walks away. "Hey man, what am I supposed to do? Is someone in my room?" I yell. He didn't respond and never turned around to even acknowledge my question. I head back to the front desk while the security guard explains the situation. After a few minutes of discussion, the front desk clerk calls the maintenance guy in. Back to the room we go. The maintenance guy tries working on the latch so that the door can open. Finally, he gets in. The room is completely dark. The maintenance man turns to me and says, "Can you ask for another room?" I say, "Why? All my stuff is in there. If no one is here, then maybe it was just a coincidence." He shrugs and inspects the latch. "It's a brand new latch. You see how it clicks and doesn't just freely swing?" He tells me this as he attempts to slam the door and make the latch close in on it. All attempts to make the latch swing shut on itself were futile. He looks at me with sympathetic eyes and suggests I move to a new room. I decide against his recommendations and bed down for the night. The next day, I woke feeling extremely lethargic due to all the suspense and activity of the prior night. I drudged through work and came back to my room only to find that, yet again, it hadn't been cleaned. As I opened the door, I see two of the cleaning ladies walk past and motion the Holy Cross symbols and mumble in Spanish under their breath. "Hey, so is anyone going to clean my room?" The one lady scurries away, leaving her companion. "Yes, sir. I'm sorry. We have one of the women who will do it." "Why hasn't it been done already?" "We all refuse to clean your room. I'm sorry." "But why?" "There is something very evil in your room. It watches us when we clean. It is a devious spirit and likes to play tricks." For a second, I couldn't speak. I knew exactly how and why this had happened. And now, I have my very sensitive and superstitious Catholic cleaning ladies refusing to clean my room. "You felt it too?" I asked with a quivering voice. "Yes, you should move rooms. The white lady said she will clean it. She isn't superstitious like us." "Well, I'm not superstitious either, but it locked me out of my room. What is this thing? Will it follow me, or does it just want this room?" "I don't know. Have you done something to upset the spirit? This room was fine before you came." Feeling accused, I responded, "I don't know. I went to an old mining town with a friend and accidentally walked into a cemetery." "Ay, Dios mío," she said under her breath, then gestures the sign of the cross. "I have to go, sir. I'm sorry." After talking to the manager and explaining the events of the night prior, along with the cleaning lady's refusal to clean my room, they ended up giving me another room. I packed up my stuff and relocated to the 3rd floor. "I'll be fine here. Maybe it really was just a room. Nothing to worry about," I said assuringly to myself. I kept all the lights on and the TV and dozed off like a baby. Pat, 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 pat. I woke up sweating and confused. I heard giggling up and down the hallway. "Damn it, annoying-ass kids," I yelled. Tap, tap, tap. Followed by a few giggles from what sounded like a little girl. Only this time, it came from inside my room. I laid there paralyzed. The room felt very cold. My arm hair started to rise, but I couldn't move. My mind was awake, my eyes were open, but my body wouldn't budge. The TV on the mount turned towards the couch, then shut off. The latch snapped into place. My desk side drawer opened up and the Bible got pulled out and thrown onto the ground. The pages started to shred out all over the room. I heard the giggle of a little girl. She laughed harder as she saw the look of terror on my face. My room phone started to ring, but I couldn't get any strength to get up and answer it. Ring, ring, ring. The terror stopped. The pages all floated to the ground, but the phone kept ringing. I finally got the strength to control my body again. I reached for the phone. "Hello?" I said. "Hi, this is Dana from the front desk. You need to get out of your room and come down to the lobby immediately," she screamed into the phone. Without any hesitation, I hung up and ran out the door towards the elevator as fast as I possibly could. The elevator doors opened and I pushed first so rapidly and hard I almost broke the button. When I got into the lobby, my friend from work was waiting for me. "Hey man, are you okay? They said they heard screaming from your floor." "Screaming? Maybe it was me. What about the little kids playing in the hallway? Did they see them on the security camera?" Dana, the lady from the front desk, came over to us. "We didn't see any kids on the cameras, but we did get complaints from the floor below you that they heard running." "So, what the fuck is going on here? You guys have spirits, the Bible, the pages were being ripped up all over my room. The cleaning ladies wouldn't clean my room and kept making cross gestures and telling me an evil spirit lives in there with me." "Sir, we have called the police to come and have a look, but you need to stay here." "Oh, trust me, I'll be right here in the lobby." After about 30 minutes, the officers finally showed up. They talked to Dana at the front desk as I see her pointing towards me. "All right, guy, how much have you had to drink tonight?" Looking confused, I responded, None, officers. I haven't had anything to drink." "Yeah, right. Well, the nice lady at the front desk says she has security footage of you running up and down the halls, ripping pages out of the Bible, laughing and giddy like a psychopath." I felt a wave of disbelief and confusion rush over me. I didn't. I couldn't have done that. I was laying in my bed and then everything started to go insane. Pages flying everywhere. I even heard the latch. I got locked inside. The officers looked at me, unimpressed with my story. "Sure, buddy. Okay, we're just gonna take you down to the station and check you out. You're being detained." My friend stares at me like I'm absolutely crazy. As I pass him by in handcuffs, I see the two cleaning ladies. They gesture the cross, and the one comes up to me. "Next time you go on an adventure, know whose graves you stir." And then her eyes turned soulless and black as a devious grin swept across her face. She opened her left hand, and small pieces of my Bible trickled out onto the ground. "It's them! They did it!" I yelled to my friend, pointing my head in the direction of the ladies. "The cleaning ladies!" The officers continued to restrain me with all their force. "Josh, the staff said there's only one lady who works here right now. She's an old white lady. You made all this up." My face turned pale, and my body went limp. Be careful whose grave you stir. That's pretty solid advice, don't you think? Let me know if you enjoyed this tale in the comments section below. If you haven't done so, click on that subscribe button as well, along with that bell icon to be the first to know of when I upload new videos. If you'd like to reach out to me, find me on Facebook at facebook.com/LadyMcCreepster. A direct link to my page is in the description below. Till we meet again, my dears, sweet dreams.